I'm losing my fucking mind.
Refined, calm.
So this is my review on Left Unread. Left Unread is a neat visual novel game fashioned as a 2D platformer that takes place during the COVID-19 pandemic. And it pulls you into a text message-driven romance story between a college freshman and his crush, with the story unfolding as you jump from text to text bubble as a little white square. It's a Unity game from the USC gaming department, which makes me wonder if maybe it's based off of some personal experience. Either way, there's definitely a lot of relatability in this game. First and foremost, the anxiety of having someone that you care deeply about and just wondering how and when they're gonna respond to your text. So it leaves you watching that typing bubble with worried anticipation about whether or not you sent the best text. And the game even sprinkles in several moments where you see the character in doubt, and they start to edit and even outright delete some of the text that they initially wrote out, something that I've definitely done myself. Another relatable bit of the game being when it talks about that frustration of maintaining a friendship and even building a romance solely over text, and the uncertainty and confusion that can come with trying to understand things with only the texts to go off of. The game would throw me for a loop multiple times where I would think things were good when they were bad, and times where I thought things were bad when they were actually good. Reminding me why I hate attempting to have any sort of serious discussion over text. And speaking of serious discussions and things that I can relate to, the game also dives into the consequences and the psychological effect on your mind that can come with the canceling of plans, the sitting at home, and the limited contact with everyone, let alone just your crush. And it was easy to see at points in the game that the characters were in distress. I mean, they would even say so themselves. And there would even be texts that they would send that seemed like clear indications of depression. It seemed like a game where the developers wanted it to be a hard-hitting dose of reality to that situation, and they did a well enough job that I found myself pretty easily getting invested in the story and the characters. I would be happy when they were happy, I would be sad when they were sad, I would applaud my guy's brave texts, and I would get frustrated at his more cowardly texts. So going into the game without any idea of what it was, I got to liking it pretty quick. And with it being what I assume is a student project, it does really, really well. That being said, there's definitely room for improvement. There are many relatable moments, but there are also many awkward and cringeworthy moments, with messages reading like texts of middle school students instead of college students. I do know adults that are cringy and awkward, myself probably included sometimes, but the truth is, when I first played through, I actually thought that they were high school students instead of college students, and I didn't actually realize that they were college students until I read the description. And even when the game did go into the deeper topics like the anxiety and the depression and loneliness, it still felt like it was lacking, and that it was just really kind of scratching on the surface of those issues. And I get it, it's a short game, but personally, I would have loved for there to have been more in-depth conversations on those important and unfortunately relatable issues, especially as the story progressed and the characters got closer to each other. And then one last thing, if you look at the Steam page, the game claims to be a choices matter game, but I never found that to be the case. I played through the games multiple times, I played it in many different ways, and I wound up with the same ending every time. The only thing being that I noticed that there would be chains of text that you might only find if you had sent a specific text, but those were brief, and they would always circle back to the direction that every other choice had led to. So I think it would have been way more interesting had there actually been a greater weight put on the choices, and had there been various endings that you could get depending on what kind of texter you were. All in all, my final verdict is that this game is definitely a game that I recommend. Especially for anyone looking for a sort of casual story-driven game. It was easy to get into, it was fun to watch the story unfold, and overall it's a really well-made game with a neat concept. I hope they make an update to it or make a sequel or something. And if any of you have this game and you've beat it, you should definitely try out the realistic mode. That mode is flawless. There is no criticism possible. It gets 10 gold blooms out of possible 10 gold blooms. God, I love Jeff Goldblum. Anyway, that's my take on it. I do want to hear your thoughts as well, so let me know in the comments what you think of the game, and if you think that there's anything that I missed or anything that I'm being unfair about. Now, to get on to something else. This is my first review video. It's something that I want to do more of. It's something that I want to get better at, and I would really appreciate any feedback on that, whether it be a comment about how you think that I did in this review, or just if you liked it, leave a like, and if you didn't like the way that I did it, leave a dislike. That would be very helpful to me. Anyway, I really appreciate you watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. Have a good one.